Most teams create content like it's a checklist item. We post it and it's job done. But here's the truth, okay? Content isn't just the stuff you publish. Content is infrastructure. So it's basically your GTM engine, okay? You can't just have a one-off post and you just can just. It actually fuels your sales, your hiring, your investor eggs, your SEO, the whole brand itself. If you're not gonna build a content infrastructure, you're gonna run around doing content sprints, which is gonna burn you out eventually. When you run content like an output, you create once and then you leave. There is no system, there is no feedback, there is no compounding. But for the best startups, they treat content like code, okay? You ship a version, you get data, and then you iterate, just like running a product. And eventually you build a machine that works while you sleep. And think about it. Your sales team needs decks, your founder needs a narrative, your brand needs presence, and your investors need belief. And all this comes from one place, that is content. Why wouldn't you build a content OS rather than a calendar? The idea is simple. You take one strong idea, take 10 different formats from it, and distribute across 5 different surfaces, and that's called a content nucleus. So, for example, let's say that you recorded a 10-minute video on why funnels are dead. From that, you pull 3 reels out of it, 1 carousel out of it, maybe a LinkedIn post out of it, maybe a cold email template out of it, maybe a blog out of it, if it's possible. So, whatever your content nucleus is, we'll have to pull out as much content from it as possible. So the whole concept is, the goal isn't to pump content, it's actually to reuse, remix, and redistribute. Most of the content you need is already existing, buried in calls, decks, podcasts, etc. So the question is, do you have a system that turns this content into distribution machines? So here is where it becomes real, okay? So content isn't just for marketing. That's the first thing which you have to understand. The sales team needs 2 decks for buyer objections. Maybe your hiring team need a culture reel, and your product team need demos and FAQs. Every team in your org depends on content. So if you're only making content for Instagram and your blogs, you are really getting under leveraged. So with the rise of AI, you have a really huge leverage at this point, okay? Because you have to actually effectively use these AI tools to get your point across. And the best part is, you don't need a huge team to pull this off. With AI, I can actually help you summarize transcripts, generate scripts, turn blogs into reels, rewrite decks according to different personas. Now your one idea becomes 20 different assets just in a day. So you have to actually think modular. Start thinking in content block. One quote, one tweet, one idea can become a library of assets which you can reuse on sales emails, maybe a LinkedIn, maybe even on ads or for demos. That's the power of modular storytelling. You're not just making noise, you're compounding. At Pulseframe, we've turned this into process. Every client video becomes a content nucleus. We atomize that into mini assets and tag each intent based on different personas and distribute them with building CTAs. It's not about posting for the algorithm, it's about building your GTM. So if you're still treating content like a marketing checkbox, you are leaving a lot of leverage on the table. So build a system, build once, distribute forever. In the next chapter, we'll talk about buyer content fit, how to match the right story to the right person at the right time. That's how we'll create not generic content, but content matched by your buyer's intent. And that's when the engine really starts to convert. See you there.